this edition of Behind the Badge. I'm Christy Kaler, Public Information Officer for the Harford County Sheriff's Office. On today's show, we'll give you some valuable information about a credit card scam that threatens your financial security. We'll weigh anchor and get underway with our new Marine unit. And now that school's back in session, there's lots to know about your responsibility to keep our students safe on their way to and from classes. We've got the details of a new detention center program that gives inmates a better chance at sobriety once they re-enter society. And if you've got questions about the eviction process here in Harford County, we're here with a rundown on how that works. But first, our current detention center was dedicated in 1973, and our female deputies are an important part of its operation. I sat down with some of them recently to talk about the challenges and the rewards of their career choice. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for spending some time with us talking about your careers at the Harford County Detention Center. I know each of us kind of had a vision of what we would be when we grow up, and sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. Senior Deputy Hannon, you and I were talking this morning a little bit about what brought you to the Harford County Detention Center. Can you tell the story?
Well, when I was 5, I was lost, and a police officer found me and took me home. And ever since then, I wanted to be a police officer. So I volunteered for about 3 to 4 years with Baltimore City Auxiliary. And throughout that time, I decided it wasn't for me. So I decided to go into another branch of public safety, which was corrections. And I've been in corrections now for almost 31 years.
31 years. And did you start with the Harford County Detention Center?
No, I did not. I started with Baltimore City Jail.
Well, we're certainly glad that you're over here in Harford County.
Thank you.
And Senior Deputy Raymond, I know you have a little bit of a different story of how you came to want to be a correctional deputy and get to the Harford County Sheriff's Office.
Yes. I started pretty late with a career. I joined the military after high school. I met my husband, got married, raised 2 kids, followed my husband around for a while, worked at the gym on base. I knew that I couldn't stay at the gym forever, so didn't know what to get into, but I saw an ad in the base paper about testing for corrections and law enforcement, and it said that I'd have to go down to Baltimore, which I said forget it, because the one-way streets, and I just wasn't having it. So the next day I was dropping money off at the bank in Edgewood, and I saw this huge sign. It said open testing for law enforcement and corrections at the senior center for the next day. So I thought, okay, this must be
your sign.
You know, yes, definitely. So took the test the next day, left work, took the test, where I met Lieutenant Cole and her dad, and they wanted to take me on a tour of the facility the next day. So me leaving from work, I had on shorts, show up at the jail in shorts, and Lieutenant Cole says, you can't wear shorts in here. So she immediately fixed the problem and went and got me a pair of blue inmate pants, which I put those on, toured the facility, and here I am today.
And the rest is history.
Yes, it is.
And how many years have you been at the detention center?
Just over 10 years.
Well, I'm certainly glad Lieutenant Cole gave you those pants.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you.
So there's a lot of different things that you can be assigned to at the detention center. We certainly want people to know that there's kind of great variation there. So Senior Deputy Jenkins, can you talk a little bit about what it is you're assigned to do and what your day looks like?
I'm assigned to second shift security. Every day, well, each day is different. No day is the same. It all depends on what's going on, but no day is the same.
So certainly a job where you're never bored.
Yes.
Good to say.
Never
Yes.
bored, yes.
And how long have you 10 years you say you've been in that
Yes, I have been
position?
with the sheriff office for 10
10
years.
And Senior Deputy Huey, you have a different position at the detention center. Could you talk a little bit about what it is that you do?
Yes, I work shift 1 at the Interagency Processing Center and booking. This is where everybody from the county and out of the county are brought to the facility and are processed in when they have been arrested. And our process in there is they get patted down when they come in. From there, they get fingerprinted, photographed. We run warrant checks on them, and then they'll see the commissioner, and from there they'll determine what their status will be.
So you're probably one of the first people that someone meets when coming into the facility.
Yes.
And I know that you are also involved in some secondary assignments. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Yes, I'm also a part of the body fluid team at the facility. We assist outside the facility when needed by law enforcement, and we also, of course, do the inside of the detention center when we're called upon.
And I know that years ago you were assigned to the K-9 unit at the detention center.
Yes, 2007 I was K-9 officer for the detention center until 2010. Out of everything I've been through the 18 years at the facility, I think my most memorable one, and that will probably always be with me, is my K-9.
K-9 time. I would imagine that this career brings a lot of challenges and also a lot of rewards. So I want to start with Lieutenant Lisa Cole, who is the Chief of Security at the Detention Center. Tell us a little bit about what makes your job challenging and rewarding.
My job is to ensure that the officers and the inmates stay safe in the facility. So the most rewarding thing and the most challenging is to ensure that the officers go home every night to their loved ones.
And Senior Deputy Huey, we talked a lot about communication being an important part of your job. Can you talk about how that can be a challenge with some of the population that we serve?
Being the interagency processing center, you're dealing with a variety of different people, so you have to be able to communicate. People come from different backgrounds, and you have to step back and take a visual and see where you're going to have to go with your conversations and your interaction between these people. So when they usually come in, I observe first, and then from there go on to what I need to make the situation run smooth, and also to help make them in the situation they're in as comfortable as possible to what I can.
I imagine that can be a challenge, just that people are in a very vulnerable state when they're coming in. So that seems like that would be something that might be difficult.
Yes.
And then as we were meeting, you talked to me about a story that happened to you recently at Walmart and found it rewarding. Can you tell that story for me?
Yes, I was at Walmart with my son, and him and I we were actually in the shampoo aisle, and I had a gentleman from the facility that was incarcerated at the facility tap me on my shoulder. I turned around, and it was a gentleman that was in there, and he wanted to tell me about how he was doing. You know, he was moving on with his life, everything was going well, and he actually thanked me and, you know, told me he appreciated what I did in the facility, and I told him, congratulations, I hope everything goes well, and just keep it going the way you are.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I would imagine that when you are out and about in the public or you meet a new group of people, someone asks, as we always do, what do you do? And I would imagine that there's a lot of mixed reactions when you talk about being a correctional deputy. So I want to start with Senior Deputy Hannon and ask if you could talk a little bit about what kind of reaction you get from people.
Usually it's not a good reaction. People think that being a correctional officer is like what they see on TV. A lot of times TV portrays a negative role, and it's not a negative role. You know, we're law enforcement just inside behind the bars. Mm-hmm. And it's all about what you make it. We're here for care, custody, and control, mm-hmm. and to help the inmates.
Sure. I don't think people always see it as a helping role
they
like
don't.
that. Senior Deputy Raymond, we were talking about a story you had as well on how people react to you.
Yes. I go to Dunkin' Donuts to get my coffee every day. And more times than not, it's thank you. I get a lot of thank yous. Thank you for what you do. They appreciate it. They appreciate it.
And Senior Deputy Jenkins, can you talk a little bit about what their reaction is to you when you tell them that you're a correctional deputy?
Oh, when I tell people I'm a correctional deputy, they don't believe me. I guess it's because of my personality, because I'm mostly known for like cooking, cleaning, baking, crafting, couponing, and you know, a lot of different hobbies. So I guess they can't see me as a correctional officer.
Well, one of the things we really wanted to talk about today was if you are a young girl and you are deciding what you want to be when you grow up, and someone was to say to you, I think I'd like to have a career in corrections, I'd like to be a correctional deputy, what type of advice would you give that person? And I want to start with Lieutenant Cole. I know that she comes from a family of service to the Harford County Sheriff's Office. So what kind of advice did your dad give you?
Well, my dad and my stepmother both have over 30 years in the public safety field, and they both worked for the Harford County Sheriff's Office. So I did follow in their footsteps, except I just work at the detention center. So they both instilled, in order to succeed in life, you have to be working, determined, dependable, and listen to people, be able to communicate with people. And when I graduated from the academy almost 20 years ago, my dad gave me a card that I still have to this day, and it's instilled in me, and it said, "Don't do anything that will ever tarnish this badge." And that is the most important thing that I can tell any new officer when they enter into the facility is do not do anything to tarnish that badge. It's the best advice he ever gave me.
Senior Deputy Hannon, you talked a little bit about also having a family member in corrections that kind of helped guide your path in making this decision.
My uncle, years before he went into the Navy, he was a correctional officer at Baltimore City Jail. And when I went and I asked my dad about going into corrections, he told me my uncle was a correctional officer at Baltimore City and to speak to him. And I did. And he told me, it's something, it takes a strong individual to do. And you'll know right off the bat if you're meant to do it. And he said, go for it.
And I would say 30 years of service says you were meant to do it.
Yes.
And I'm going to end with Senior Deputy Raymond. It's a young person. They want to have a career in corrections. What advice are you giving them?
The advice that I would tell a young girl is to stay out of trouble and stay drug-free.
Great pieces of advice.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank each of you for coming today and spending a little bit of time with me and helping our viewers understand a little bit more about the Harford County Detention Center and what a career in corrections would be like. So thank you to each of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge. The Harford County Detention Center has instituted a new program to give inmates the tools they need to address substance abuse and mental health issues that may have contributed to their incarceration. Let's find out more.
In order to ensure a more successful reentry of inmates into society, the Harford County Sheriff's Office Detention Center has developed a substance abuse and behavioral health unit. Hello, I am Michael Capasso. I am warden of the Harford County Sheriff's Office Detention Center, and Lieutenant Leonard Malcolm is here to tell you more.
The Substance Abuse Behavioral Health Unit, also known as the SBU, is a 10-week program designed to help inmates that are in addiction crisis. After an inmate is booked into the facility, they're then screened to see if the SBU is appropriate for them. Once in the program, there are several things that the inmates must do. They have to meet with our behavioral health provider. They must attend NA and AA meetings. We bring in guest speakers that speak to the inmates about their addiction issues. They have daily responsibilities, which include cleaning of the common areas as well as their own cells. They also have to attend group activities which help them identify the root of their addiction problem and help them find a path to sobriety. Upon completion of the program, the inmates go through a graduation ceremony. They are then introduced to the reentry services where Vivitrol is made available to them.
What makes this program unique is we are addressing the connection between addictions and behavioral health. In doing this, we are better preparing inmates to be more productive members of our Harford County community.
We've been getting lots of questions about skimming devices, one of the ways criminals are stealing your credit card information. Here are some tips for you to minimize your risk of becoming a victim.
Nowadays, most people are using both debit and credit cards for majority of their purchases. Here in Harford County, criminals are utilizing skimming devices at a wide variety of retail establishments in order to target your information. I'm Sergeant Sean Craig of the Harford County Sheriff's Office, Northern Patrol, and I'm here to provide you with tips to keep both you and your money safe. A skimming device is a piece of technology that criminals attach to various ATM machines or gas pumps where it actually steals your information off of your cards. Now, let's discuss tips on how to combat that. Number one, you should always protect your password or your PIN. So take your hand if you have to and cover over it while you're actually typing in your PIN. That way, it helps limit your exposure for people accessing that. In addition to that, if your bank or your credit card has any kind of alert, a fraud alert, that kind of thing, where they can give you a text message or an email of any kind of purchase over a certain amount, etc., then you should sign up for that. When you utilize things like a gas pump, you're more financially safeguarded if you utilize a credit card as opposed to a debit card. You're less on the hook financially speaking, so it's always safer to use a credit card. In addition to that, you should be monitoring your bank account information on a regular basis. That can only help you. So the more that you monitor it, the quicker that you're going to find out fraud, the faster you're going to be able to shoot it down, the faster you're going to be able to notify law enforcement, and the higher the likelihood is that we're actually going to solve your crime and get that suspect into custody. In closing, when you're utilizing an ATM or a gas pump, it's always smarter to utilize the ones that are more well-traveled, the ones that have the most traffic, because thieves are less likely to target those that are closest to a clerk, those that are in a well-lit area, those that are more center where people are going to be able to see these thieves installing skimming devices. Most importantly, to take home from this segment is make sure that you're checking your bank account and your credit card information on a regular basis. The sooner that you can detect fraud, the sooner that you can report it to the police, the sooner that we can stop these transactions from occurring, and the higher the likelihood is that we're going to be able to solve your case and put these criminals behind bars. Thank you for your cooperation and thank you for your time.
Now that school is back in session in Harford County, there are lots of school buses and students traveling to and from classes. Here's a refresher on the laws in place to keep our school students safe and out of harm's way.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Mike Lane, Harford County Sheriff's Office Traffic Unit, reminding you to please drive safely this school season. We have 2 laws on the book pertaining to school bus safety. The first law would be failure to stop for a school bus operating its alternately flashing red lights. This is punishable by a $570 fine or 3 points. The other law is failure to remain stopped for a school bus that is operating its alternately flashing red lights. Also punishable by a $570 fine and 2 points. Whenever you see a school bus with its flashing yellow lights, you have to understand it's getting ready to stop, so you need to prepare to stop. When the lights turn red, you have to stop, unless you're on a divided highway. A divided highway would be a highway divided by a jersey wall, a grass median, anything that's not meant to be driven over. The Harford County Sheriff's Office is committed to our children's safety. We have a school bus safety enforcement program in place which is funded by the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention. During these details, we follow school buses which are known to have habitual violators. When we do observe a violation, citations are issued. If you have any questions at all pertaining to school bus safety, please contact the traffic unit at 443-409-3323. As always, please remember to slow down, drive careful, and watch what you're doing.
From our dining and shopping, to our rich history, to everything water, to the decor capital of the world.
Come have a ball and have it great.
A great place to live, work, and play. Come discover and explore haverdegrace.com.
The Harford County Sheriff's Office recently unveiled its new Marine unit, and Sergeant Robert Burgess is here to tell us all about it.
You might not realize this, but the Harford County Sheriff's Office patrols 249 miles of shoreline. Hi, my name is Sergeant Robert Burgess of the Harford County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit. Let me take a moment to tell you what our new Marine Unit does. Our Marine Unit uses two vessels, an 18-foot Boston whaler and a 12-foot inflatable vessel. Some of the things we use our vessels for is searching for evidence underwater and searching for missing persons in a water situation. We also assist the public with vessels in distress and assist other agencies with specialty details as needed. In addition, you can find us at various functions and community events throughout the year, just to let you know we're here. With our new Marine Unit, we are assuring the citizens of Harford County our presence on land and in water.
Many Harford County residents have questions about some of the programs and processes that we, the Harford County Sheriff's Office, are responsible for. Let's find out more about one of those processes, evictions.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Patrick Vitrone of the Harford County Sheriff's Office Civil Process Unit. I'm here today to talk to you about the eviction process. It can be long and confusing, but I will go over the steps to help you have a successful eviction. The process for eviction in Harford County starts at the district court, whether you're filing for failure to pay rent, tenant holding over, or a breach of lease. It all must be filed at the district court. Once it is received by the district court and turned over to the sheriff's office, we will serve the party involved, the tenant. Once the tenant has been served, whether personal service or tacking to the front door, the court date will be shown on that paper. All parties will be required to attend rent court at district court. At rent court, if a judgment is awarded in favor of the landlord can then file a warrant of restitution. A warrant of restitution must be signed by the judge and received by the Harford County Sheriff's Office before an eviction can be scheduled. For more information, please visit us at harfordsheriff.org or call the Civil Process Unit. We understand that this can be a difficult process with a lot of moving parts, and we would be more than happy to walk you through it.
The Harford County Sheriff's Office will go to great lengths to make life better for the citizens of our community. And here's yet another example of our sheriff and our deputies going beyond the badge. Recently, Sheriff Gaylor was proud to present the Boys and Girls Club of Harford County with a check on behalf of the entire HCSO Kiss-A-Pig team. With the generous support of our community and the hard work of the entire Kiss-A-Pig team, we were able to be the top fundraiser for this year's Kiss-A-Pig. Thank you, Harford County. Now let's check in with our cold case file for some information on an unsolved crime here in our community. On Sunday, September 14th, 2003, at approximately 7 in the morning, 38-year-old Tina Louise Leone was found stabbed to death in the 1400 block of Stepney Road in Aberdeen. Detectives continue the investigation into this crime. However, there are currently no suspects in her murder. If you have information about this case, please call us or submit an anonymous tip. Thanks for joining us today on Behind the Badge. We have lots more to share with you about who we are, what we do, and how we keep you and your family safe here in Harford County. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram for more information about our agency in between episodes. Until next time, for Behind the Badge, I'm Christy Kaler.